So we are all set, apparently. How do you do?
Good.
So there's one thing that gather all of you. You are all entrepreneurs, founders of companies in just three different, industries, areas of businesses.
And just in my whole kind of experience, then I realized that why weren't there enough women entrepreneurs, right? And why weren't there enough women in finance backing these women? I mean, for example, when you go for these Indian Angel Network or any kind of network meetings, right? I realized that I was the only woman in a group of like 10, 15 men, right? So when someone is coming and presenting, say, something to do with maternity or lingerie wear or women's clothing, right? When you're presenting to 15 men, they're not using that, they're not experiencing that product. So I saw all these deals fall off, right?
And, when I went to business school, I went to Harvard and I was fortunate to go on 2 scholarships, right? So I went to the Fulbright and the Tata Endowment. So, one of the things we were looking at and a bunch of us, folks were talking about was the role of technology in scaling up impact in healthcare, right? Had an amazing set of batchmates from China, from Indonesia, who were talking about these amazing sort of digital products that were supporting mothers across their countries. And I was like, how do we take this back to India? How do we build a solution for India that really solves for things like basic things like information asymmetry, empowering mothers to make the right choices through pregnancy and postnatal care, empowering families to make, informed critical care choices and what to feed their children, what to feed the mothers during pregnancy, what kind of tests are required, what kind of support is required post-pregnancy, emotional, physical, medical, across the entire spectrum. And so move back to India and, built out Baby Chakra.
My journey has been quite different from most people. I left school at the age of 16, very unusual. Don't really have anything more than a formal education beyond class 10. I joined the World Bank when I was 18. I spent 10 years there. And then I found that I had a calling which was different from what I was doing. And that calling was to create something beautiful and to put India on that map of luxury where, even though that's where we all come from. I just think that India has such an amazing heritage and culture.
I think very similar to Ankita. While Ankita was on the side being pitched to, I was the one pitching. And, I think every sort of pitch meeting I'd go into, apart from, of course, the gender sort of, ratios on the investor side, but even on the pitching side, like on the entrepreneur side, right, when I was starting off, it was very, very, it was abysmally low, right? I see that changing now for the better. But there's a long way to go. So, I've been part of, as you said, the Facebook She Leads Tech initiative. I've been part of sort of other sort of, women, formal, informal women entrepreneur groups, people who've been in the business for a while and who are sort of supporting younger, fresher entrepreneur startups. I think there's a long way to go, but we're all sort of trying to do our bit.
I think I believe in one thing very strongly, that India is a very strong player. And, we can take on the Chinese anytime because they sell our product 10xing it. That's a great sense of pride.
I mean, I'd like just to talk a little bit also of technology before going back to, maybe also to funding. We know how much technology is a tool of empowerment today for many people.
One thing that we're realizing is that this whole dream and ambition, like a product like, let's say, a Baby Chakra and some other products have in the space, is how do you provide personalized care?
Yes.
Right. And that is something that only technology can enable. And at scale. I think that whole part of how do you take it to scale, that's sort of what tech does, right?
We did not have a website. It was very, very embarrassing just before COVID hit. My daughter, she said, Mom, you've had a company for almost 23 years and you don't even have a website. And you don't have a web store. And I mean, how can people buy you if they don't visit the places that, where you are selling?
Right. So I am extremely bullish about the role that, women entrepreneurs will play, especially in the digital realm, in creating products that are made for women and serve women's needs, which basically will then therefore hopefully attract a lot more women online and, really create a digital democracy, which is the aspiration that I think all of us in the tech ecosystem have.
I think what the way Ankita put it, I wish women have the security and have some kind of ability to be either trained. I'd love to talk to more women and tell them that just go out and do it. Don't look for results. That's what I did.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, of course, I'm in the, kind of world of finance, but, in terms of our portfolio companies, right? I think, and just the startup kind of ecosystem in India, we are of course attracting a lot of kind of, money, international money coming into our kind of, ecosystem. Just maybe from the perspective of consumers, we have a huge emerging kind of middle class, which is there out to consume, right? So I, kind of foresee that consumption just, accelerating and increasing. And I, more homegrown kind of brands coming out. There was this kind of obsession of all these things from outside of India, but I think we have enough and everything in and from India, right? So I think that's going to be a huge kind of movement in terms of enabling our own local homegrown entrepreneurs. And of course, in terms of women entrepreneurship, it's still a very long journey. For India.
So that's the way I
definitely. I think, it resonates for everybody in the sense that it becomes quite mainstream to hear that kind of message. So hopefully things are moving forward positively.